Hi, St. Andrew. Pastor Peter here. You've probably been following Damar Hamlin's accident on the football field in Cincinnati this past weekend. He's still currently hospitalized in that Cincinnati hospital in critical care, and we hope and pray for his continued recovery, along with the doctors who are providing care for him as well. There have been a few interesting things that I've witnessed throughout the course of this past few days since this tragedy on the NFL football field. One of which is how profoundly good and generous America and the world can be. You know, Damar had set a $2,500 meager goal to support a program. He's just a second-year defensive back, and so he doesn't really have a lot of name say. But now, of course, he totally does, and people are rallying behind him. Can you imagine when he wakes up how he's going to react to the over $5 million that has been given to this charitable organization when he set a goal of $2,500? That's an amazing display of generosity. Of all the things that are going on in our world, people are good and people are generous. The other thing that I really have appreciated in witnessing this event is how there are these 350-pound football players who, as one football player says, we typically put on our armor and go into battle, how they're taking off their armor and they're showing emotions and vulnerability and humility at the same time. I think it's a great image for us as we all kind of armor up in life and circumstances, that it's okay to put out an air of vulnerability and trust with community and friends, that we can be real and authentic with one another. Great thing to have on display these days. And finally, I also have loved the fact that on the front page there have been people in prayer, and how important it is for us as people of faith to pray. You know, I think in times of need and in times of crisis, we all fall on our knees, as they did on the football field. And that is certainly what we do in our faith practices. Yet I think also the ongoing, the dynamic, the rich relationship that God has with us also beckons us to think about prayer and communication and relationship that God seeks to have with us, that is on display here as well. Times of urgency, but also in times of everyday life. And so I just have liked the fact that prayer has been on the news, so to speak, and how important it is for us to consider that as one of our Christian virtues in relationship with God. And so we do continue our prayers for Damar, but also for all of us as we continue to grow through these kinds of experiences. How might we be generous and good in a world where sometimes we don't see that very much? How might we be a little more vulnerable and authentic with our lives and with others, as we've seen? But also how prayer might bolster us in our lives, because God is there waiting, listening, and responding. God bless.